them being so that you have your tools with you at all times. What are tools? What do you consider tools when you're a light worker?
Crystals.
Okay.
Definitely crystals for me.
Okay.
Salt, alcohol.
Salt and alcohol. Mm-hmm.
Flame.
Something that's
Some
going to
kind of
create
fire.
light.
Yeah.
Fire.
Matches or a lighter or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Matches, lighter, all of those type of things they recommend. The one thing that they told us that they didn't particularly care for is fire sticks that go click, 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 especially when you're doing ceremony. So that's why if you have done pipe with me, you'll notice that there's always a flame there that we can light off of so we're not clicking, because they find that very offensive. They would rather hear a match being struck or a match being lit in a flame. So you want to, consider what your source of flame is going to be. Then they also pointed out that you want to have a form of fire, or light rather, that's not just fire. You want to make sure that you have a flashlight, something battery operated or something that's, solar operated, that's going to give you, because a lot of this stuff we're going to actually need. It was funny when I was in the doctor's office the other day, and he was complaining about his computer being so slow, and the iPad and the new stuff that's coming out, and I said, what's going to happen when all this goes away? This is never going to go away. Technology is here to stay, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, what's going to happen when the satellites in the sky are, oh, that's never going to happen. And I thought, wish I could flip your switch, but you're not letting me. So, people are not aware of it, and they don't want to accept it. So we've got to be prepared if we're carrying the torch, if we're carrying that forward. And one of the things that they showed us too is when you carry a flashlight or you carry something that is operated in that manner, you need to have backup resources with you. So if it's something that works with AA batteries, you want to have a pack of fresh AA batteries that's not been used or contaminated or exposed, so that you have some type of something that's going to be for backup.
Like solar panel and wind energy.
Mm-hmm.
They have these awesome crank batteries, or crank flashlights. They're LED flashlights, but they're cranked.
I have.
My husband used to call them the jack-off legs.
They're not shaky ones. These ones are twisting. You twist
Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, and they work pretty well, but sometimes they'll get to a point where you have to be constantly cranking it in order for there to be light, which could be worse, could be just no light at all.
Exactly. But something along that line, something along that is something you want to consider to have with you. And in your possession at all times. What if something were to happen where you are in a place where all of a sudden you are told to go, and in order to be safe, you need to be underground. You need to be able to have
In root cellars.
a source, a root cellar, or in a, bomb shelter, or in a, think about the different things that need to be, that could be places that we need to be. So think of your source of generating light that you're going to need. Candles are going to take up oxygen, because in order for the flame to burn, you need the oxygen. So if you're going to be able to provide a light source, you want to be able to provide it in a number of different ways. I do carry candles with me. I carry different size candles with me. I carry different types of candles with me. I need to replenish my tea lights. I had taken them out, but you need to carry these with you. You need to have this stuff with you.
Do you have matches? Do you have...
I carry a fire stick. And I just got, and I don't know where it got put, it's like this, but it's actually butane, and you refill it with lighter fluid.
Oh, yeah, I have one.
No, not like yours. Yours is a torch. That's a regular.
I have a torch, but I also have a fire stick that's butane.
Okay. I've seen your torch.
Zippo makes them.
Yeah.
Who?
Zippo.
Oh.
And you can get them here for $4.99. For one.
And you can refill it?
And you refill it, yeah. I don't know where mine went. I know it's here somewhere. Unless it's another one of the things that's now missing. And so you want to have a light source, and you want to have a power source to create heat also.
The power source besides a flame?
No, a flame,
Oh, okay.
some type of, I was just using that as a continuation
Okay.
sentence. So then you want to, one of the things you want to do is you want to have the items that you work with and the items that are in your medicine bag, you want to take care of them. If you have a mechanic who uses the mechanic tools and they don't wipe the grease off the tools, what happens to the tools? They become rusty and unusable. It's the same thing. If we don't take care of our tools and if we don't protect them, the same thing's going to happen. They're going to become rusty. They're going to become contaminated. They're going to become dirty, if you will. And then you're going to have to be doing cleansing of the stuff that you want to do. So if you've set up and you're doing a ceremony and you put things away, if you ever notice, mine are always all wrapped. Because it's an honoring, it's a protection, and it's a cleansing.
So all of those pieces are part of your medicine bag?
This is part of my big medicine bag, yes. This is the big one I carry with me.
Okay. So you wrap, if it's a candle, you wrap it.
Like all my
together.
candles will be wrapped together.
Okay. Keep things
And what you want to do is you want to use materials that's more as close to natural materials as you can. Today it's kind of hard to do that. You know, we get scrap material around and we get scarves or we get, you know, different things like that that we can use. But ideally, the more natural the product, the better.
like wool or cotton.
Wools, cottons, natural product. I use a lot of like hankies because they're cotton. But yet I do use a lot of scarves because I've been gifted with a lot of scarves, so they work in there as well. And when I'm using the scarves, they're also something that can then be laid down and used as part of the work I'm doing. It can be set down as a part of the process. So when you're working with something, you might end up actually putting it on the ground so you have something to work from.
Oh, so instead of putting in a whole actual blanket,
Right.
would be your
Use the cloths that you've got with you. One of the things that recently came up, and I need to replenish mine because I used it at the last time we were out just before winter, is you want to have either large trash bags or like a small tarp because you're going to get out into areas where there's moisture. Okay? And Danielle, you're going to want to be able to do that because you're going to want to be able to protect yourself from the little critters.
Right.
That could be, so you want to have something that could be a protective barrier. One of the items that you're going to put in your list of things to have within your medicine bag is something that makes noise. Okay? Something that's going to create a noise, because noise brings up the vibration, a rattle. Chimes or bells. When I was going back through the old notebooks trying to find the information for this, they've really, really been pushing on the importance of chimes and bells. And
It's
that's,
a high vibration.
hmm?
It's a high vibration.
It brings the vibration up. It brings it up really fast, really high. So that's something that they've really been talking about, having that. I've had this little rattle for years and years and years, and it's just been in my bag for years. It's not loud, it's not obnoxious. It's just a nice way to bring my vibration to the vibration of the ceremony. Another thing that I'm hearing for the higher frequency vibration is you want to have your selenite wand. Now, I want you to think of this on a big scale, and I want you to think of this on a small scale as well. I have both. I carry my big bag, which goes with me just about everywhere. I also have a little bag, which is one that can go with you. For example, if you just want to put something that's going to stay in your car, so you have something with you at all times, your little bag is the ideal thing for that. Or like what I could have done to go to New York, which I didn't do, and I could have done when I did my tour, which I didn't do, and I've really regretted I didn't, is have my little medicine bag and just check it in my luggage.
They're vacuum.
This is very different
It's
than what
the
I
heater.
thought it was going to be.
Oh.
Okay, so selenite wand,
So
which needs to be also protected from moisture.
protected because they're very, and once again, anything you put in there you want to wrap. Marianne, she goes, this drives me nuts because I have to unwrap everything to see what I want. You're going to learn when you wrap, oh, this is a feather, they go in this cloth. This is my my circle beads. This is my candles because they're in this cloth. You're gonna start learning what you have your stuff in
Yeah,
if
like
you work with it.
Where is it?
Categorize it. Anything that's fire, you could wrap in red. Anything that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, I like that, color coded. Ooh, that worked for me.
You also want to have a small set of medicine wheel stones, a portable medicine wheel stones to have with you so that you can pull at any point in time.
I don't even have one here.
They can just be teeny tiny little finger stones.
Okay.
It could be like I had those my brain just shut down. Those purple ones on my
I know, I love
on my
those.
drum.
Yeah.
Agates, my purple agates. They can be like that. Just have 39 stones with you like that. I'm just gonna kind of go through some of the stuff I have here. This is salts, I believe. Is this salts? Yeah. This is some different forms of salts and sands and dirt. You want to have different forms of it because you're going to have different needs for it. You've got your Dead Sea salt, you've got sea salt, you've got Himalayan salt, you've got, in a pinch, I can grab out of the cupboard and have salt. You know you should never run out of salt in your home, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
And then
Then water
sands
will boil.
and
Pardon?
Because then water will boil.
you said sands and dirt.
And dirts, yes. Because you want to have sands and dirts that have been with you in ceremony. So if you go to a place say you go to a place where there's been a fire, and as you're there and you want to renourish that soil, you want to have soil that's been in ceremony so you can spread it out over the earth.
So like that would be good at the 9/11 site.
Right.
Yeah, taking.
To
When
offer.
we did with the earth ceremony, those bundles, that would be bundles to have in our bag.
Right.
For those things.
Right. But if you do them as a bundle, you don't want to break them open.
And the bundle you bury.
Right.
Okay.
So what I do with my bundles, for example, I have all my bundles here. These are from ceremonies we did last year. This is from ceremonies I did the year before. I'm not ready to bury them yet. Spirit hasn't told me you're going to bury these bundles. So I have other dirts that I carry with me that's for blessing dirt. This is for when I bring,
Something when you know.
yeah,
Okay.
when it's time to bring all of the energies of all of these locations together and honor all of these places. This is going to be kind of like when you go to powwow, if you will.
Okay.
You know how Native Americans, when they have their big powwow gatherings,
I'm hoping
these are the kind of things that they will bring and have when they do their private ceremonies.
Okay.
That all that nations, maybe the Florida or the Arizona nation would bring their stuff, the Washington nation would bring their stuff, and the Alaskan nation would bring their stuff and place it together as a joining of nations.
That would be cool.
Okay?
Okay.
So it's that type of energy that you want to keep within the bundles when you're doing the bundles. I do carry my bundles with me in my big medicine bag. I do not carry them in my little medicine bag. I keep them with me in my big bag because there's going to be need for it. If I'm doing and I need to draw energy from a certain, a place that's got beautiful vegetation and, extra strength and, the energy of bear with it or whatever, I want to make sure I have that to draw from while I'm doing ceremony.
And you said the big bag, that's one you keep in your truck.
That's the big one. My big bag goes with me everywhere. The little bag is the one that I don't. I just take it like if I'm going to go on a trip. What do you want me to have in here, Spirit? And I do it. Okay?
Excuse me. Okay.
The other thing you want to have in your bag is you want to have 2 knives. You want to have a little ceremonial knife.
A knife, knife, sorry.
You want to have a little ceremonial knife. This is for like cutting, if you're cutting the salts, if you're cutting the soil, like if you need to dig soil out of the earth. that type of thing for, you know, bringing that ceremony back with you. Whenever you do ceremony, you should, if you do it outside, you should be gathering soil and or waters from the areas. So you always want to have empty containers with you. If you do an inside ceremony on your way out, you'll want to gather something as you're on your way out. Like we really messed up on our trips. And that's my fault because I didn't
Yeah,
stay
we
on
didn't
top
even
of
pick
that.
up a single rocker.
I know.
And I just want, I'm thinking we weren't supposed to. I mean, I didn't come across any of us. We weren't supposed to bring any of New York like that.
I know. For some reason it did that because, like, exactly. And I never forget. But I
Yeah,
did.
I'm always collecting rocks, and I always make it a point, like, I'm here, let's find a rock to take back as a memory for me.
Mhm.
Didn't come into my head not one time.
I didn't like New York's energy. I really didn't.
Huh. Then you want to have the other knife. This knife, you want to make sure it's sharp enough that it can cut. The little one. The big one is basically the ceremonial knife. This is a knife that is used figuratively. This is the knife that's used to do, like if you're doing a ceremony of cutting through and you feel the impression, you need to have a knife present as a tool of symbolism. This is, you know, cutting through that. It's more of a symbolic, and what do they call them?
A thing.
Thank you. And just to give you an idea of what, you know, I use, and this is what goes in my big kit. What I have in my little kit, and when I first got it for Selena and I because we would work together and I was teaching her so much. But that's changed now, so it's gone into my little kit, which is actually the little dual knife set.
Oh, how cute.
It's got your little working knife, and then you've got your ceremonial knife.
Oh, that is really cute. And so the little working knife is sharpened and you
Yep.
use for the,
I can't see it.
you see that?
Can you see it now?
It's just like a sheath, and it has two small knives.
Oh.
So we've got the little knife,
Oh, okay. Oh, that's tiny.
Yeah, it is.
and then we've got the ceremony knife.
Oh, where did you get that? I think that's cute.
I have a supplier I get them through.
I like that.
So just so you can kind of get an idea,
Because that blade isn't over 3 inches long, so I wouldn't be in trouble if I got pulled over.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing to consider, too. Do you have any weapons in the car? Well, I have a bunch of knives.
I have my ceremonial knives, and here's my ministerial degree
Oh, thank goodness
that
for that.
I do this for my religious practices. Okay. All right. Back to
And let you know about it. I am doing something.
another thing that you want to create is a prayer belt. A prayer belt, you want to make it in red, and you want it to be long enough that it could go around your waist twice. The way that a prayer belt works is you have a need or you have something, they say to braid it. This one I actually braided. The other one that I'm working on to put in my little kit, I'm crocheting it as a single strand of crochet.
Oh, okay, I know how to do that.
Okay? So when you do it as a braid though, they're saying you need to have the 3 strings together because of the drawing of the triad. Okay?
You mean you just
Braid 3 strings together.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And then what your prayer belt is for is when you have something that comes up that's a dramatic need, that's something that's going on. You know you're going to be on this trip and you want to make sure that the trip is blessed. Like it was what I should have done with the trip to New York and that type of thing. What you do is you start within the center. You tie a center knot in your prayer belt. I'm going to tie it even though it's not for a purpose. You would tie the knot in the center of your belt. Then you go from that point to the next point of the end of the braid, and you tie another one. And as you're doing this, you're tying it as you're preparing for whatever work you're doing, okay? Then you go back to your center knot, you find the center point between this one, you tie your knot here. See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've now got 3 knots in here. What this is this is 3 power releasement points. Okay? Then from there, I'm going to bring these 2 points together, the center and that other knot. See what I did? And I'm going to tie a knot here. And each one of these knots represents whatever the intent of, see how they look? So then you go here, find your center, tie your knot. Okay, so you now have 5 knots in your prayer knot. You can also do down to the end if you want. You could put another one down here.
And you just keep going on until you feel like your prayer is done. You keep centering until.
Right.
Okay, it's not like stop at 3 or 4.
Right. It's what you feel led to do, but you always want to go from the center of the points between each other.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do another one, say, between this one and this one, you would just simply find the center point and tie in the center. Okay? I don't pull them tight because you're going to untie them. Then what you do is you untie them in the direction that you tied them. Because what you're doing is you're putting your request into the knot. Okay? I'm asking for the trip to be blessed. Okay? But you went specific, that I'm able to help people heal. That I'm able to help, whatever. Okay? So then when you want to take your knots out, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the direction that you put them in and do it in reverse. The last knot I put in is here. Maybe it was actually this side, and I don't recall which side, but I know what position. Okay? So then when I'm in meditation, I'll take the knot, I'll hold the knot, and say we're at the expo, and this one was sent, this prayer was sent that we would have the perfect transportation to get to where we're going. So what I would do then is this one is being open, this would have been transportation in my mind. I would, as I'm saying it, I would untie it and do it very gracefully, very respectfully. And then when I've had it untied, I then snap it. I've sent the prayer out. Okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm confused
That's okay.
a little bit.
We're
You're tying it into our request.
Into our requests. And then that's holding our prayer.
Okay, I get that.
Okay, so
But
then
when
we want to release it.
after the prayer is answered? Or
No, when you're getting ready to go. So for example, like 30 days before we do the May trip,
Okay.
we're going to want to do a prayer belt, which is going to be your prayers for that trip. How can I, what can I, and then maybe just before you leave.
And each knot can sort of, it's all
As a
not the thing about this
representation.
trip, but each knot can be a different piece of the trip that you want to come together.
Right.
Okay.
And then as you undo them, you undo it just kind of like it's not real, it's almost like you're sneakily untying it, and then when you have it, you pop it and let the prayer be released.
Now, why do we use red?
Red is power.
And then, so when are we untying it?
When you feel led to.
Okay.
Say you felt led to do a prayer belt for your finances. Say you did a prayer belt you felt for selling your house. Say you did a prayer belt for feeling whatever. And as you untie each one of these, you're opening the energy of that to being blessed. You do not ever, I will tell you this and you will do it and you'll be like, oh my God, what did I do? You do not ever want to open all of them at one time.
Oh, good thing you said that.
It's like wham.
Never.
It will be overpowering. It will be.
So could you, in my mind, I would think it'd be a good idea to have paper, kind of write out what I'm thinking and say, in my center knot, I will start with this, and then I will go to the left. That way I can keep track of how and what went into it.
Mm-hmm. If you want.
Until I
If
get
you're a
really
C
good.
personality and you want to do it that way, yeah.
I don't want to forget. Well, most not sure what this is for, but okay.
I know
You
this is, I know the blessing of this whole rope is for we're gonna use the May trip. For the May trip, that miracles and blessings and everything that needs to be done will be done. So as I open each one of them, it's going to open up each one of those blessings.
So
don't really worry then about which knot is what. It's not critical.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that's good.
It's
Okay.
kind of a general catch-all.
Right.
But you don't want to just like untie all of this, because all of a sudden you could be at an expo and you've opened up all this prayer, the prayer that people that need your healing, people that need to have a message, or people that need to this or that, and all of a sudden you're going to have 30 people standing in front of you. I want, and you've put the prayer out there. You've got to honor your prayers.
Whew, yeah.
So you've got to be really careful about how you undo it. One at a time.
Okay. Oh, and then we're undoing the knot. I mean,
You untie it gently.
yeah, and you said something like you're untying it opposite. I mean, which that just kind of makes sense. It would have
When
to
you
be
start,
opposite.
you always start in the middle.
Okay.
Then you go to the ends, to the middles, to the middles, to the middles, so you have your middle points. So when you do that, you want to undo it the same direction backwards.
Starting with the middle knot to untie. No.
You're going to end with your middle, exactly.
because that's the first one you started with, so it'll be the last one you open.
Okay.
So if you tie 7, say we've got 7 knots in here, and we've got a knot here, 2 knots here, 2 knots here, 2 knots here. You know these were the last 2 you tied. So you're going to open one of those first. Then you go to the other side and open it. Then you go to the next point, the next point, the next point, the next point, then to the middle. Because the middle is the heart.
That makes sense. Okay, now I get it. Knots
So
tied.
now, how long do you have to wait between untying knots? Are we talking days? Or
You'll know.
Are we talking
You'll know.
a couple of days?
You'll know. I've tied belts and have had them sit for months. And I'm like, oh, I need to untie one of these. And then I'll have another one where in the morning I'll untie one. Then at lunchtime I'll feel like, oh, I need to untie another one. That'll go a couple days. I better untie another one. You'll just know. It'll be kind of one of those things that'll come to you. It's like, oh, I need to go to, that type of thing. Okay? The other benefit of this is it gives you something to be able to tie with. So if you're not using it as a prayer belt, and say you want to wear it around your waist during ceremony to charge it and empower it, it's something you can tie with. Say whatever purpose you need something along that lines. With that said, you always want to have twines of some sort in your pack so that you can have something to tie with. If you're trying to do ceremony and Sister Wind is blowing you every which way, you want to be able to tie your stuff down.
Twine.
Mm-hmm. I also keep little containers that have little candle holders that have little places you can put for heat, for safe. So if you go out in the desert, you're not going to start the desert on fire.
Oh, okay. So heat save, like the clothes.
Exactly. And you also want to have a heat safe container that you can use, like your cauldron.
Oh.
Okay? That can be used for ceremonial work. So now we're looking at the little bag and we're looking at the big bag. You see the need for a couple cauldrons or a couple heat safe containers?
Yes.
Yep. Size is going to be dependent on what you're doing. Okay. Another thing is shells. You want to have one big shell for doing your smudging.
I don't even have one.
You want to have a big shell for doing your smudging.
Mine's smaller than that, but I think, yeah.
You want to, if you can come across a nice size abalone shell. Really big, okay. Okay. Woo.
Unless it's going in the smaller pack, and then
Right.
it's smaller. Okay, so. Okay.
I think I've got a couple of these left.
Maybe I'll have to buy one off you in May.
And then you want to have your littler shells. Like I have a lot of these little ones that I gathered because they can hold the incense, they can hold the offerings, they can hold the tobaccos. It's a natural product, it's nature, and it's not stuff just laying on the ground to get blown around and not held in respect and reverence. Okay? This is the one that I carry in my little pouch. Is this size.
That's what I have.
That's what I carry in my little one. It gets hot and it's hard to manipulate with, so you always want to make sure that you have your. It's here. I had it.
That is it?
Your heat safe can
Now those terracotta things that I had for the plants, would that work for your heat plates?
Yeah, anything that's going to create a safe barrier. I have a stone.
Doesn't terracotta break if it gets too hot?
It will break if it gets too hot, yes.
Okay.
So you get those slate.
Get trivets. Get like the kind of trivets you can get
Oh yeah, like
for putting on your
I have a
on your counter for under a pan to sit on.
like a porcelain one.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I like stones. I use stones.
Okay, and then a heat safe flat surface like a stone.
And then of course you want to have a smudge stick. You do not want to put your smudge stick back in a cloth unless you know it is completely out. Another thing that I've always done, and I've had different people who don't care for it, so I haven't done it with some of the group, is prayer beads or gifting beads or whatever you want to call them. And I always create one that's a center holder. So during ceremony, if I'm in a small location and say I've put a scarf down, I've created a protective circle for my ceremony.
Oh, okay.
I will put my smudge, I'll put my heat source, I'll put whatever I'm putting inside the circle.
We should do a prayer beads class too.
Yeah. One of trade beads is another. Some people get really offended with doing trades and doing trade beads.
I don't know what that is.
Kelly had an encounter with it.
Yeah.
Some people don't know how to do it properly, so it becomes a problem.
Well, and it was sort of hard because it's like, well, why do I have to bring gifts for everybody with every ceremony? And I like gifting, but it just felt like I was obligated and it was
Right, and it's not always going to feel like you need to give one to everybody.
Yeah,
It may be the kind of thing where you bring 2 items and you're going to gift those to somebody in the circle.
Yeah, like a couple people got dragon stones, and I'm like, oh, dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't mind Laura having one. I knew that was supposed to happen. I didn't mind April having one. That was supposed to happen. But the other 2, I was like, well, crap, I can't just, that's how I felt at the time.
Right.
So
When you do trade beading, you want to make sure they're glass or wood, natural product, and then it's something you would trade with that person, and they can then create their own. There's actually a full ceremony for creating these beads.
Oh.
That would be. Except for
See,
I
that's
kind of
not-
get gypped.
Why?
I could gym it all by myself.
Well, let's do it when we're in New Jersey together.
We need to find ceremony time.
Yeah,
While
well,
we're
it's
in
gonna
New
have
Jersey.
to.
We need to find ceremony time when we're doing any of these.
I know, that's
This
why
first
I want
New York-
New York, but
New York was so new for you guys and so new for everything that I didn't want to put us all into a place of, oh my God.
It was like that enough, I think. But
Then you're going to
Okay.
find that you're going to want to put in other little things that are significant. For example, I have a 4 Directions little medallion. And maybe if like you work with wolf, you might want to have like a little wolf fetish or something like that you can have their strength and their energy brought in. So like with this, I can honor the 4 directions, I can honor the medicine wheel without having to set up a medicine wheel.
I work with Red Wolf.
Okay, so you would want to have some type of representation of wolf with you.
And the badger.
Right. So whatever you feel that might need to be. Huh?
Because we're not doing the class. I haven't been spending time figuring
I
out
know.
my animal, and I got yelled at that for today in my channel.
Not doing
Mother
the
Earth is getting tired. You need to learn your animals. That's what was told me.
Yep.
She grows impatient.
Yes, she does. Trust me, I've heard that one so many times I could just cry.
Mm.
And then a selection of herbs. You're going to want to have a selection of herbs and you want to wrap them. They absolutely hate it when you come to ceremony and you are crinkling plastic or paper. I have literally, before you guys started coming, I have literally had to stop ceremony and tell people you either pull the stuff out of the bags or we're done. Well, I don't have it to put on. Okay, that's when they started teaching us. You need to have little shells. You need to have little... I started keeping those lids off of the little candles. You pull the rubber or the plastic ring off of them and you've got perfect little round containers for holding things.
What candles? The tea lights?
No, well, you could do it with the little tea light holders even. The glass little ones you can get for like $1 in Walmart.
Oh, yes.
Those
little
little
glass
tops.
jars, and you can pop them in, and once that candle's out of there, it's a perfect little container, and it's
Yep.
natural, it's glass.
Yep.
So, like, well, those tea lights have aluminum, and aluminum is natural, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, we have, I don't know if you guys have Michael's, but Michael's has the little, the spice jar with that flip thing. They've got tons of those little ones for $1 each.
Mm-hmm.
They're really inexpensive, so that I'll have to go.
So you're going to want to figure out what you can put your herbs in. And then you're going to want to have to keep restocking them.
I have those bags that you gave me, the muslin bags.
The what bags?
The muslin.
Yes. Those work really,
muslin.
really well.
Yeah. Where did I put down the fabric? Muslin's cheap, too.
For example, if I can find the name of the supplier again, you get like 250 of them for like $10. And you can put, and then you can write on it what you've got. This particular bag goes in my little kit. Because it's smaller amounts of it than I would use in the, and if I'm putting, for example, sand or salt, I'll leave it in a plastic bag and put it in here.
Because it will probably leak out.
It'll leak out and it'll mess up your whole kit. But if it's in a bag, you can take it out, put it in its container you're going to work with, put it back in your muslin and it's honored. Okay? So this is what I do. And it works really, really well. And then for my kit, I use one of the wonderful bags that Danielle made.
I've got those too.
And it just holds it all together. So you want to pick out herbs that you may feel the need to have with you. I'm going to give you a brief list. Salts, any of the salts. You want to have dragon's blood. You want to have frankincense. And they've just recently really, really been on me about myrrh, so I'm actually ordering some myrrh. And sages, cedars, juniper, if you're working in an area where you feel like the area is depressed, you'd want to have like frankincense, that type of thing. Not frankincense, St. John's wort, that type of thing. So you want to listen really careful. And when you're standing there and all of a sudden you hear, I need to have clove with me? What the heck is that about? Clove is an excellent purifier. Clove is an excellent cleanser. One of the things... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's a darn good thing that I'm really pushing to learn all the herbs and stuff, because today when we were out at playtime for
have them in either of these kits right now is because I'm using most of them for the office and for taking to the shows that we're going to as essential oils. You want to have a base set of little essential oils that you would want: lavender, chamomile, tea tree. A nice little base set of those, and you can handle just about anything. Look in the catalog and look for those that are antiviral, antibacterial. We just lost her.
Of course, you get to the good stuff. I know. I feel kind of weird sitting over here like about 5 or 6 times and getting like this kind of freaked out, weird feeling.
You can move. You don't have to sit there.
Oh. I was like, well, why? It comes and goes. I don't know. It's like, what's going on?
It's usually when they're pulsing into the system. I had David reset everything here at the house when I got home.
That's really creepy. I'm trying not to be afraid of fear or anything like that.
I don't carry that with me, but you may feel that that's something you need to carry in. What I do is I tend to take strips of material, and I have loose material that's in a strip.
So you can wrap or
So I can
something.
wrap, if I need to wrap a poultice, or if I need to wrap an oil, or, you know, whatever I'm feeling led to work with the person or the situation, I have that with me.
like strips of muslin.
Mm-hmm. And if, for example, you go to an area and you feel like you need to do healing work with a tree, and they tell you to bandage the tree by tying a ribbon in the tree, you want that ribbon to be out of a material that's going to disintegrate. You don't want it to be a material that's like a nylon that's going to stay there forever and choke that tree's life. You want it to be something that can be disintegrated over time.
So always biodegradable or out the
Natural,
earth.
yep. And I told you about carrying a portable medicine wheel with you. Feather. You always want to have a feather with you. Depending on if you're going to carry it as contraband and nobody's really going to see it other than when you're doing ceremony. If you have an eagle, use an eagle. If you don't, use what comes to you. Look for what's gifted to you in the earth. You know, what do you come upon as you're out and about? I
I get pigeon feathers.
How much?
Pigeon feathers.
There you go. Use that. Pigeons are the messengers. They carry messages. They have a purpose. They have a principle. So those are the kind of things you want to do too. Make sure you have a feather. Watch what's out and about. Watch what's being given to you. You have to be a little bit careful. For example, if you put a raven feather or a bird of prey feather in a bag and you're carrying it on a plane, because they can come to you and say, you know that it's illegal to have this feather. But you can also say, here is my ministerial license. It's wrapped in cloth. It's honored. It's respected. Okay? That type of thing.
Okay.
They can still try to take it from you, though, can't they?
Yes, they can. You can fight it, but they can try. And depending on if you want to miss your flight or not, you'll give it or you won't.
How important is it?
I'm at the airport 3 hours early. Damn it, yeah, I'm going to try to fight for my product.
Yeah.
When I carry oils, going back to the oils, when I carry the oils, I try to carry the smaller bottles of the oils so that if it opens up for some reason or if it breaks for some reason, I've not lost a big product.
And you have it totally ruined your whole bag.
Right. Okay.
Small bottles.
Crystals. We talked about that briefly. One of the crystals that you want to have with you definitely is selenite. You want to carry a bigger piece with you, and you want to carry a smaller piece with you if possible. Little bag wants to have a little one, big bag wants to have a bigger one. Same thing with your feathers. You're going to find in your big bag you'll have a big feather. Your little bag you'll have a smaller feather. Oftentimes the feathers, because just they fit better.
Okay, so there isn't a significant of size.
No. And you'll find that when you get your feathers that all of a sudden they create themselves into a smudging something. They'll go into some form or some shape. For example, forever I used to just use these as single feathers to do different things. And then one day as we were sitting here preparing for ceremony, they said, no, you need to bring this all together. See, this group of feathers could not go on an airplane. Why?
Is there a
The
lot?
eagle feathers.
Yep, there's an eagle feather in there. Yep.
Oh, it's so small though.
They'd catch it.
It would.
So this
I would
one,
definitely catch mine.
With peacocks.
I have great big wing feathers, primary wing feathers that stay in my cabinet that don't come out, that are for ceremony. And I actually had one that fell over and caught on fire during ceremony and burned right in half. Yeah, I did that. I was like, oh my god, what is going
Well, this
on?
one is the one that eagles that lived in our backyard that
Ooh, cool.
dropped the feather when we were flying over trying to eat my cat.
When we lived in Kodiak, it was something that we would always try to find the eagle feathers because they're over there by the hundreds, by the thousands, they're everywhere. And one time, we felt like we needed to go to this one beach, David and I did, and we got sidetracked and didn't get there. Had we gotten there when we felt to get there, we would have found an entire eagle. But because another husband and wife got there before us and it had washed up on the shore, they knew to call, they dialed 911 and had the reserve come and get it because I would have scarfed that puppy out.
No.
And we would have been home honoring, burying, plucking, and every little teeny tiny feather. But
You would have had chicken soup.
no, I would never eat eagle.
I'm just kidding. But, we have peacock feathers because we have this really pretty park that has peacocks that run wild there. And those would really be pretty.
Yep. So those are one of the kind of things that you want to put in there. Carrying crystals and stones with you that have empowerment. I tend to carry dragon blood stones with me. I tend to carry clear quartz with me.
Dragon blood stones? Like not the resin, but a rock?
I think I have one left on the shelf when I was moving them last
It's
night.
mine.
What? That's not fair.
Hey, you have more crystals down there. Oh. Ooh.
I think that's an Apache tear.
No, I think you guys have more crystals up there.
Because we bring them up here.
Oh, I like that. Dragon blood
I tend
stones.
to carry dragon blood with me because it's a representation of dragon. And I tend to carry my crystals in a little pouch. Okay? Both bags, they'll have different crystals, they'll have different... One of the things I do in my little pouch is I found these, I don't like them. So I'm gonna find something different.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I made like a little, so I can have it for small needs, for small situations. I have fat fingers and I don't have fingernails. I can't get in here and pinch them out. Okay?
What did you use before?
It has all the herbs in it. Can you see it?
Oh, okay. I see the little squares.
Yeah, and it has like a little pinch of cedar, a little pinch of arnica, a little pinch of yarrow. These are some of the herbs they told us to have.
Oh, okay.
Rosemary, fennel, eucalyptus, clove, chamomile, St. John's, cedar, arnica, yarrow, juniper, lemongrass, and basil. So that's what I was carrying with me. And I thought, oh, this will work out great. And I really was excited. But then I got to do ceremony and I couldn't even get the stuff out. And then I was finding, oh man, I'm dropping it in the other stuff and they're getting mixed. But it's great because it keeps it from mixing. But I would want to go a little bit bigger.
Oh,
If I were going to do it this way.
I'm missing 3. Shoot.
I'm missing a lot of them.
All right. What do you got? Here, I'll read it over. I got rosemary, fennel, eucalyptus, St. John's, chamomile, clove,
What?
clove,
Clove.
cedar, arnica, yarrow, basil,
What was after arnica?
yarrow,
Okay. Yarrow, basil, lemongrass,
and juniper.
and juniper.
But like I said, it was a great idea, but for me it didn't work. So, be
Like a little
creative.
fishing tackle, or
Yeah.
jewelry kind of a,
Totally,
yeah,
totally.
okay.
Then, when you start creating your big bag, you do want to put something in here that's going to be able to go on the ground. Yes, you're going to use your little claws for setting ceremonial circles, but you want to have something that you can set for yourself to set on the ground. Okay?
Good.
We have these really cool boxes at, I think at Home Depot or Walmart, and it's my nail kit. Do you remember my nail kit?
Mm-hmm.
It has an open bottom compartment, and then it latches another top compartment, and then inside that top compartment is another compartment that you can put smaller things in it. And I found it, and I love it, but that would work good because it's on wheels.
Right. Marianne has like my rolly suitcase. That's what she uses for hers. Is she got a rolly suitcase that's like a computer suitcase. You can use a rolly duffel. Okay. I
It's
find that when
hard
I'm
to
doing
carry it into the woods though, because I got one too for scrapbooking, and it's heavy, it's awkward, it doesn't, if you were gonna hike somewhere, you'd be miserable carrying that darn thing through the
Yep.
woods.
Yep. That's why I've got this, because it's easy for me to get a hold of and I can take it in anywhere. Actually, it looks like a doctor's satchel.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
One of the other things that I have in here is, and something that they told us to start doing, is carrying representations of the animals that we work with. So, for example, I have a little bit of fur that's a deer. I have a little bit of fur that's buffalo. I have horsetail. I have some more salts, of course. I have salts everywhere. And this is a shoulder strap, so if I need to throw it over my shoulder, I can. Where's mine? I have wolf fur in here too. You want to carry representations of the animals that you work with, okay? That you want to draw in.
So their tooth or a claw or
A
their
tooth, a claw, piece of fur. I don't know where my other.
Does it have to be natural, or can it be?
like a carved out
Like,
picture.
It can be carved out, whatever you feel it is, but if you can get a hold of little pieces of the fur or little pieces of the leather, there's much more power in that because their DNA is in that.
I don't even know where I would get red wolf fur or leather.
Yeah, you ask your Alaska friends to go to the store.
Like this is buffalo I gathered off Kodiak. Take a little piece.
I have some of that you gave me as well as the horsehair.
Those are little pieces that you want to gather. Then the other thing is I always carry a pair of scissors.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Because if you're clipping plants and say that your knife isn't going to cut it because of for whatever reason, I don't believe in bruising or hurting the plant. I'd rather get a good clean and I cut it.
Sharp scissors.
This bag is so old, I have used it for so many years. But like, if you have like a tandy leather, do you have like, trying to think of some of the
Like
others.
black elk leather,
Like black
like
elk
or-
leather here. In Arizona, I know you should have like a tandy leather, and you can
Well,
go in.
we have leather stores, but aren't they contaminated?
No,
The leather,
no.
like processed?
Not if you go in and say, I want a piece of, and they'll have it. Here's some horse.
So I just
You could? Wherever, kind of explore, it's funny because if you talk to the right people and you present yourself in the right place, you've got people who do leather craft, or you have people who do crafting with, rabbit fur, or crafting with fox fur, or, that kind of thing. And they always have bags of scraps.
Always.
That they don't use. If you go and you present yourself to one of these guys and say, hey, I'll buy your bag of scraps off you, more likely they're going to hand it to you because they're going to say, somebody who wants it.
Instead of throwing it away.
Right. And a true craftsman does not like to throw their stuff away.
Right, and if we're using it for ceremony,
It's a lot of people get really surprised when you tell them that's what you're doing with it. You also want to carry something to write with.
Would a permanent marker be better, or just anything?
Something you can write with, because if they start bringing in information you need to write down, you need to be able to write it.
Paper, too. Paper and pen.
Yep. And I carry a little stick so that if I need to write in the earth, I can write in the earth.
wouldn't you use your ceremonial knife to write in the earth?
Possibly, but I keep this. And then I also use this for stirring when I'm doing things in the pot. A lot of times I'll just reach in and shuffle them around with my fingers. But if you get a pretty good size and it's got a lot of cherries in it, you can do it with this. Okay? And if you don't have a pencil with you or a pen with you and you want to put this in and you can use this as a, get it ashy.
Oh, and the charcoal.
Yeah, charcoal. I've done that a number of times with this one as well.
I don't understand what you're saying for that.
For example, you need to write something down and you don't have a pen that, say your pen quit working. You have this that you can and write with this.
So use the soot out of the fiery stuff
Right.
and
Right.
that.
Right. Okay. Shells. You want to have shells with you as well. They serve different purposes. You'll find it's kind of funny. All of a sudden you'll be sitting somewhere in the middle of the desert and think, I need to gift a shell here for a blessing of water. Okay? One of the other herbs that they really, really, really came down on us about needing to carry with us and have with us, and I need to restock mine because I've used it up, is the horsetail.
Yes.
Need to have horsetail with us. It is the oldest plant on the earth. And when it starts blooming, and there's a certain time of year, you'll find me out gathering horsetail because it's really young, it's really fresh. You want to get it before the leaves start going like this.
Okay.
You want to gather it when it's still nice and crisp and fresh. And then you want to dry it because you want the little feathers, the little leaves parts off of it more so than the stems.
I need to get a list of the types of plants and herbs that are out here so I can just go in the wild and get them.
And start gathering them, yes.
Yeah.
Or just start gathering stuff and then get a book that you can get a native, Arizona native plant book and then start looking at what it is you gathered.
This was my favorite thing to pick when I was a kid, and I used to pick it and just play with it might not have been the right thing to do with the plant, but that's what I loved.
That's what you were led to do as a kid. One of the things that they've told us to start doing is whenever we go to a body of water, to take a pinch of this and offer it to the water because it's a cleanser, it's a silicate. Horsetail is a silicate, so when you use it with the waters, it actually begins the healing. It's a filtration system.
So that's actually one of the things that's in our holy water, isn't it?
Yes. And then for my little bag, I just got, you can get anything, but I got this little guy, because it's really simple, it tucks in anywhere. It's got little pockets on it. You know, one of the other things that I like to keep in my kits and I need to get more of is I usually will keep a bottle of water. Whether it be the little ceremonial bottles of water, but I'll also keep water for drinking. Because we have to be able to hydrate ourselves after ceremony. Have you guys ever noticed after ceremony how dry you feel?
Yeah.
It's because we give so much of ourselves.
Small bodies of water. No, small
Yeah.
bottles of water.
And then just some, this is small enough I can tuck it in anywhere. This should have been with us on the trip. So, they can yell at me if they'd like. I screwed up.
You're human?
That's right. Can you imagine such a thing?
I've been led to believe otherwise.
So that's basically a medicine bag. Whatever tool comes to you that says, I need to go because of, listen to it. I have 2 stones that I tend to carry in my big pouch. One is a flat stone and one is a kind of like a rough stone, and I use it as a mortar and pestle. So if I'm out and about and they tell me I need to blend herbs and offering them to the, to the winds, I can grind them and process them or offer them to the waters.
I like grinding herbs. I do that even with my shaman's fire up. There's something I feel.
You're breaking the energy open. You're opening
I'm
that
definitely
product.
led to. I think I'm just born to do that because that's what I used to do when I was a kid, making potions and stuff. Grinding them, mix them all
do that
together.
too.
Yeah, but my mom still remembers me messing in the medicine cabinets and yelling out, "You're using all these spices."
It was.
Do all kids do that? Make potions when they're little? Because
It's a natural instinct. It's a natural instinct.
My daughter does, my son hasn't, but I, as far as I know, in my family, I was the only kid that did it. And then my sister might have played with me a couple of times, but
That's the pre-recording of the medicine bag that we did back in, I believe it was 2010. And I really, when I found it and came across it, I felt like the information was valuable and was informative to those that are new who may have the same questions that some of the girls had that were doing the class. So I felt like it was a good, powerful opportunity for us to share and learn and grow together. And I want to thank Kelly, and I want to thank Danielle for taking part and being in the class. And take the information for how it's presented and accept what resonates with you, what feels like it's empowering to you. What doesn't feel like it fits and doesn't feel like it's empowering or a part of your journey, just disregard it. And make your medicine bag your medicine bag. Make it your tool. Add the things that you're used to using and enjoy the journey. Thanks for taking time to listen.